So, you guys might have noticed that I've been wearing this fun little necklace on my neck, actually. And this necklace was actually a gift given to me and all the company members of In Transit on Broadway. It was given to us by one of our four writers, Kristen Anderson Lopez. Many of you will know her because she won the Oscar for writing Let It Go, for writing the music to Frozen with her husband, Bobby Lopez. She gave this to us at the height of tech and at the height of previews, which was a very stressful time. As all of you know who are in this business, you know, previews for a Broadway show is particularly rough on a cast, especially on an original musical. It was also extremely stressful because our first preview was the day after the election this year. And listen, Jimmy and I have been together for 12 years. And we are not part of the generation of gay people and LGBT people that thought that getting married was ever going to be a possibility. We never thought that was in our realm of reality. And so we committed to each other in our own ways, and we kind of made up our own rules, and that was fine. And then, you know, all of a sudden the world changed, and there was more and more equality in the world, and we were very encouraged by that. All of a sudden, after the election of the Orange Cheeto, we all of a sudden felt very, and I don't know, you know, I know there's probably varying degrees of politics in this room, but as somebody who is gay, and as somebody who is a person of color, and as somebody who is a child of an immigrant, I felt very nervous that day. And so Kristen gave us these. Now, they're not just necklaces, they're actually, what they are pitch pipes, actually. So if I pull this out, you can actually... And it's a middle C, and it's supposed to be very, very calming for the soul. Trust me, I was blowing on this a lot on the Yeah, a lot. It was like an SOS. So Jimmy and I, the night of the election, we looked at each other and we said, if there was ever a time to get married, this is it. In a world where there is going to be a lot that's going to be uncertain in the next couple of months, I'd really like to hold on to something really, really certain. I also knew that for a lot of my LGBT brothers and sisters, there might be a fight ahead for rights that were hard won. And so we said, you know what, if we're gonna fight, we want the Orange Cheeto to pry that ring from my cold dead finger, is what we said. And so we did it. Now, in true busy people fashion, Jimmy and I looked at our calendars and we said, well, we want to do it before the inauguration, but when can we possibly do it? And the only day that we had off, that the both of us had off, was the Monday after opening night, December 12th. So we went to opening night of In Transit. The next morning, we secretly snuck to City Hall and we got married. That was it. That's how we did it. And we said we'd throw a big party later on. Now, In Transit on Broadway, is a show that takes place currently. How many of you guys got to see In Transit on Broadway? Oh my God, man, you have In Transit. That's awesome. You know, the show takes place right now, in the present. Now, when the writers first started writing the show, it was as a reaction to 9/11. These four writers were part of an a cappella group, and they, after 9/11, they spent that night together, and they decided, you know what, instead of singing Madonna covers with our a cappella group, why don't we write about our lives as young, struggling, early 20-something New Yorkers struggling in New York City and make it a love letter to New York. And so when they wrote the show in 2000, there was no such thing as marriage equality. There was no such thing as gay marriage, all of that. And so as we headed into previews in 2017, we said, you know what, we have a responsibility to talk about what is happening in the world. Now, I played the character of Stephen. My character was one half of a gay couple. Stephen and Trent were both engaged to be married. Trent was played by the phenomenal Justin Guarini. And the two of us, during previews, you know, the writers came to us and they said, well, you know, the gay storyline isn't really resonating with our audience. You know, we just want to sit and have a conversation. And I told the writers, I said, if you promise not to tell anybody, this is what we plan to do. Jimmy and I plan to go to City Hall, get married the Monday after we open. And we told them why. And so they said, gosh, can we put that in the show? Can we actually make that what happens to your characters? Did you guys go to City Hall and get married and then throw a big party later? And I said, sure, yeah, put it in the show. And In Transit just ended its run a couple of Sundays ago, but my fondest memories come from, first of all, meeting those incredible artists that I worked on that show with, my vocal athletes, because it was 90 minutes of straight a cappella singing with no stop for any of us, for the 11 of us. But it was also really meaningful to me because I got to relive that Jimmy and us on stage as Trent and Steven. So I thought I would sing a song from In Transit, a song that actually the four writers wrote for me and Justin. In true In Transit form, I thought I'd accompany myself since that was an a cappella show. And I'll grab my pitch here. We don't choose who brings us into this world. We don't choose how we're raised or where we live. Yes, it's easier for some, but the day does come when we choose how to spend the love we have to give. I choose you for who you are and who you'll be. I choose you, and yes, I choose your family. Let me be there by your side, loving you with pride. Will you spend every day of your life with me? And we'll be home, you and me, in this city of love. You and me will be home, for better or worse. I love you, I do. You are home to me, and I'll always be home to you. Oh, yes, and we are home, you and me, in this city of love. You and me, we are home. For better or worse, I love you, I do. You are home to me, and I promise I'll always be home to you.